Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan of hotels. Eric is back in the building. You know what time it is. Today we're going to be talking about the things you got to do before you start building new hotel development and how to get it done. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Now, I think everybody remember you from the last time. You became YouTube famous.
Yeah.
So I guess the brief version, how did you get started in development?
So I got my start when I came to work for the Rivet Group 12 years ago. Basically, Ryan brought me in as a partner and said, okay, the only way you're going to really learn the business is go out and develop hotels. And, we have construction and management internal now with My Place Hotels. But at that time, he's like, I think you really need to learn the basics and then move into franchise development. And that was the end goal, was to move into franchise development. So initially it was, go out, find sites, raise equity, start figuring out the debt side of everything, and really understand the whole process. And just by getting thrown into it is really the best way to learn.
I was all swimming.
Yeah, absolutely. Now there's the back part of that, obviously the Rivet family has been in the hotel business for 50 years.
Yeah.
So I had the experience to help guide me through those initial phases. But I mean, development really starts with one, having a concept of what you want to do, where you want to do it, and how you're going to do it. The where becomes the most important.
Correct.
And, when you start with development, obviously first is what property am I going to put in what space that will make the most sense, right?
That's a good start. Speaking of space, how do you find the right location? What are some of the things that you do?
You almost got to back up and make sure, is my location going to be, we'll stay in the hospitality space, obviously.
Correct.
So is my location going to be for mid-scale transient? Is it going to be for mid-scale extended stay? You have to have an idea of what you're looking for before you look at any markets.
Okay.
Because you have to identify, okay, once I start looking at sites, is that a good site for an extended stay property? Or is it a better site for transit? Is it right off the interstate? Is it just going to catch a lot of that kind of traffic? So obviously site selection is first, and that's the most crucial. I would say brand selection is going to be very, very next steps.
Okay.
Because the two have to go hand in hand. As you start to get past that, then you'll start to, okay, I need to engage the architect, engage a civil engineer. They will typically help you get through the city process, because once you actually acquire the land, then you're going to start talking to the city planners, and they're going to want, they're going to want architectural drawings, they're going to want site plans. That's all going to come from your civil engineer. So that's really the next biggest step.
Now, there's a couple of studies that you have to get done. What are those studies?
Typically the right civil engineer will line them up, but you'll have your phase one study, your environmental studies. They'll line up they'll subcontract out the companies that do that.
Okay.
So the civil engineer will be a big step as far as making sure that they help with that. And this is obviously after you've acquired the land. So you've already spoken to the bank, you've built a relationship with the bank, and you've bought the land, then you would start to talk to a civil engineer.
So you recommend getting all the studies done before you even buy the land, just in case?
You can
Okay.
start. You're really it's a balancing act there,
Gotcha.
because if you're able to do some of that before you close on the land, then that is a plus. But it depends on how the whole scenario plays out too.
Gotcha. What's a feasibility study, and how does that play into the development of the hotel?
So a feasibility study would be when you would go out and hire a company that specifically does those. They might help you more with once you buy the site, or if you're looking at a site, you would hire them to do a study. They're going to look at the data. They're going to look at traffic patterns, traffic counts, new hospitality that might be coming in, supply and everything. So feasibility studies can be very valuable. Banks will want to see a feasibility study after you've acquired the land. So
Now, the land itself, I keep hearing this term, landlocked. Landlocked. Like they will sell you a piece of land and you don't really know what you're buying if you don't. You know, some people they just see it like as they're going to order land off of Amazon. They don't know what they're buying, and they come to find out they can't even develop that land because it's landlocked. They can't ever get to it.
Yeah, you definitely, you know, you have to do a lot of research before you actually sign off on the land, because I mean, there might be hotel restrictions by the developer that did it initially. There might be hotel restriction by the landowner next to it that you might not even know. So you want to definitely make sure you're going through all the paperwork involved in that piece of land. You want to make sure you're combing through that to make sure that you don't run into anything down the line.
Is there any type of zoning that we should be looking for?
Same deal. As you're doing your diligence, you need to check all the zoning just to make sure that it is actually zoned for hotel, commercial first, and then hotel. Because if it's residential, you could spend a lot of time wasted by trying to get it converted over to a hotel site. Typically, when you're looking at hotel sites, you're not looking in residential areas. You know, you want to usually look. Sounds odd, but in the hotel world, we usually look at sites that are in hotel clusters.
Okay.
For us, for my place, hotels, you know, we can usually fit on a smaller 1.5 acre piece of land that maybe other big hotels passed on. They need 2.5 acres. So there's a lot of times we can find that smaller piece and make it work for us for our prototype. So there's benefits there, but in general, usually you're looking in hotel clusters. You're not gonna, you know, go way out on some freeway where things are just starting to develop, but there's no hotels. Usually you're looking to be in a hotel cluster.
Nice. What's the craziest thing that you've seen happen when property tax when it comes to new development? Can you explain that process? Because I know the tax is different before and after the hotel is built. So maybe you could break that down a little bit for us.
Yeah, you know, about the best way you can head into that again is checking to see what the taxes are, what the tax rate is, the levy rate, but also checking to see what the taxes are on the properties in the area.
Okay.
Because, you know, you're going to come in fairly close, room count, revenue. They look at that side of it on the taxes. It's certainly going to go up once you put the property, once you go vertical on it. But you want to have your ducks in a row, I guess, so that once you get your tax assessment, if there is an issue, you can go back and say, hey, I've looked at these other properties. This is where it should be. If you have issues with that, there's a lot of tax companies that you can hire that will really work based on if they save you tax money. We've done it. They work. I won't endorse any companies, but they do work. We've definitely ran into that, and they'll get your assessment back down. So
Nice. Or you can build your hotel on top of a cemetery and pay no taxes. I don't recommend it though.
quiet neighbors, I guess, would be the only plus I could see there.
Man. So, I mean, you've been in this business for some time now. Like, what is the worst case scenario you've seen and the best case scenario you've seen?
You know, worst case scenarios in the development side, just staying in that side, everything is extremely time consuming, and time is money, right? So once you actually acquire the land and you start to do your diligence, you know, you can get held up in municipalities, and that can be the most discouraging. We used to be able to open My Place hotels from dirt to open in 6 months. We did a bunch, kind of pre-COVID. Nowadays, you know, you're 12, 16 months, somewhere in there. But we've had some properties that took 7 years.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot of time and commitment, and you know, that can be discouraging.
Just because of the government.
Yeah, well, municipalities and their requirements, and you know how they like to kind of just drag it out unintentionally. But you know, on the flip side of that, the most encouraging ones are the ones really what I was talking about, where you can still fit in a market that you know is doing really well, and then it comes to light. You open the hotel and comes out of the box really good, and you all of a sudden you have a successful property, and that's why we all keep doing it.
Yeah. And when you're in those tough situations, what are some of the things? Let's say there's the government. Of course, the government would never do this. Let's say the government's holding up a project from being developed. Like, what are some of the things that you could do to try to move things forward, or it's like becomes just an illegal issue that
it's really patience.
okay.
You're kind of a captive audience on those situations. There's not a whole lot you can do. To try to go down a legal avenue probably isn't going to be beneficial on the cost side. Again, it's more of just working with them and trying to get everybody on the same page and get the understanding that, hey, I ran into it. I'll say probably one of them. I ran into it in a property I was developing. The city planning commission was really against the property.
Wow.
And just working with them and helping them understand that, hey, this is bringing more jobs to your area.
Mm-hmm.
This is bringing more tax revenue to your community. It's a new property. Everything is going to be built to the latest standards and codes and everything else. It's really just getting everybody on the same page. That will go further than, trying to go down a legal avenue or anything like that. So
I heard of one guy, he got so tired of the mayor and the municipality and everything, like, interfere with his projects. He just ran for mayor.
you ran for mayor.
He's like, I can do better than this. That community is now booming, by the way.
Yeah. There you go.
Man, I swear it's just a never ending story when it comes to how amazing the government is as far as, because there's not only more tax revenue, it's not only more jobs. Now you're creating more tourism for the location. So why would you not want that?
Well, and that brings up a good point, because we've had some conversations lately with developers, and there's the attractions are there, but they might not have enough hotel rooms to support those attractions. So it's kind of the chicken and the egg, right? I mean, if you have too many hotel rooms but you don't have the attractions, you're not going to fill the hotel rooms.
Correct.
And it's almost this, it works both ways. So municipalities and communities can have a tough time understanding that part. It's like you have all these attractions and you have all this, but when you really look at it, your rooms that are available are very dated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hotels were built 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And these properties are very dated. And to have a new property there when you're trying to bring in, whether it's sporting events or conferences or whatever it might be, here's a great example.
That's right.
I mean, we're sitting in one of the best examples. This is a brand new facility for the Hunter Conference. And, it's definitely a rejuvenation to come here and be at a brand new facility. So,
yeah, I love this place. This place is amazing. Now, my last and final question, I think this will help them out. You guys developed a lot of hotels. What are like the top 5 states or maybe the top 5 cities that you had an amazing experience in developing a new property and building a new property?
Well, I don't think I'm giving away any of our secrets as far as some of the hot markets. And
oh no, not markets, just like it was just cool. Like there was no crazy holds and then a million inspections. Like the building process was just easy.
Boy, coming up with 5 with a stretch.
Top 3.
But I would say Texas is very reasonable.
Okay.
To work with. Tennessee, I've done a few properties there. Same with Texas. Very easy to work with. Went through really well. Some of the Midwest states, a lot of what you run into, and this isn't anything that the majority of us don't know. The high barrier of entry markets, the ones that we all want to get into, those are going to be the ones that are more difficult to get into.
Gotcha.
It's and you're talking the California, the Florida, those are high barrier of entry markets. Land is expensive, takes longer to build. That's not a mystery. So, those are the ones that'll be a little more difficult, but I'd say Tennessee, mid-states, the we just opened a property in Minnesota that went pretty smooth. We did quite a few properties in Iowa that have really, 6-month builds.
That's pretty good.
So they're still out there, but in general, it's definitely more challenging than what it was.
Yeah. Oh man, listen.
It can still be fun though.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to stay in a brand new hotel? Like,
we're still doing quite a few groundbreakings, which is proof that people can still get the projects through, and but it's all about patience. So
have you ever been in any situations where you had to knock down an old hotel and just build another one? Like, is that even feasible nowadays with the prices? Or?
It's definitely going to be on the radar quite a bit, because there's a lot of, just what I was saying, there's a lot of aged properties out there that are just at the end of their life cycle. It's definitely a doable process. You're going to add a little more cost to the overall landscape of the construction project, but yeah, don't be afraid to find those types of sites.
Nice. The average hotel life cycle is 30 years, 40 years?
Boy, I would say probably 40 years. Most franchise agreements are 20 years.
Okay.
As far as the actual franchise agreement. But yeah, I mean, they do it in the 20-year time frame, because that's usually, you'll see your PIPs coming in the 10 to 15 years, your property improvement plans from the brand. So in 10 to 15 years, they're wanting improvements and everything. So you go another 15, 20 years past that, yeah, that property is getting pretty weathered.
Wow. I remember some brands are 5 years, and I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I don't think I could do 5 years.
I will say, at my place, we handle that completely different. We do a relevant improvement plan.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily lay it out in our franchise agreement, like you have to do this, 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 and this. We prefer to use our quality inspections to give the owner a heads up. Hey, you know what? In 3 years, you might be due for corridor carpet, or
Gotcha.
5 years, you might be due for some lobby upgrades or something. But we don't necessarily lay out, in 15 years, you have to spend $2 million on your hotel. And that's not an exaggeration, because a lot of owners hear that, and that's a big chunk to take off. But we won't get down the property improvement rabbit hole.
Amazing. Listen, thank you for being on the show as always. You're always great when you're on the show. How can everybody get in touch with you?
We're at myplacehotels.com. We're on LinkedIn, all the normal areas. We'd love to have you. I'll give a shout out. We have our owners conference coming up in Miami.
Oh yeah.
This year in September. So definitely check that part out too. So we put on a great event, and it's a lot of fun. So
I will be there, and with bells and whistles. That event is amazing. The sad part is only twice a year. I mean, once every other year. So
Yep.
It's once every 2 years. But that event is fantastic, and you guys will really enjoy that. Well, you're all over LinkedIn. We're all over LinkedIn. You know what to do. And thank you for joining us for another episode. This is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan Hotels, signing out.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bruce Jordan, the Hotel Revenue Expert. I just want to take a quick second to thank you for watching this video. If you could just do us a big favor and just subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more videos like this, more information, great information about hotels. I'm also the author of the Hotel Revenue Bible. You can get that book on hotelrevenuebible.com. And we are here to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions, just shoot us a quick text at 321-321-2002. That's 321-321-2002. And you can book a revenue call. Go to hotelrevenuecall.com and we can answer any and all your questions. Just make an appointment with me. You'll do one-on-one with me. You'll be able to do one-on-one with me, and we could go ahead and get all your questions answered and see if you have any revenue issues that needs to be resolved. Talk to you soon. Thank you again. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you.